All right, I get what you're saying, but I really do not believe the Bills quarterback is an alien. Think about it, bro. Shows up in town, everybody loves him, has a certain glow about him. It's exactly like E.T. Listen, okay? I know you're desperate to pass the time, waiting for the ticket release of the world's largest startup competition, but you just gotta chill. Hey, give me this blanket. You had it last night.
Folks, don't camp out, don't wait in the rain. Head over to 43north.org or social media and grab your tickets today. Get them before they're gone.
I'm telling you, he is hiding in plain sight. Even think about his last name. What do you mean? Allen? That's pretty standard. Is it A-L-L-E-N or is it A-L-I-E-N?
Folks, welcome back to a show that is truly out of this world. It's not wrestling with your budget. It's not wrestling with your conscience. It is wrestling with emotion. And let's get our panel in because we are about to get extreme with WWE Extreme Rules on tap tonight, gentlemen. A Saturday pay-per-view for WWE, which doesn't always happen. I'd love to see it. Love to see it. What are we doing?
I don't know. Just excited.
Getting groovy.
Yeah,
it's a slick
getting
Saturday, baby. Let's go. Acknowledge me.
It is Slick Saturday. It's game day, and that means huge shout out to our friends at Labatt. Let's go. But with that said, as always, well, we'll narrow it down a little bit since it is a WWE pay-per-view night. Favorite storyline in WWE right now? Slick, why don't you kick us off?
Oh, man. I was going to say the Acclaimed, but you narrowed it down. So, you know, I think I'm going to go with Sami Zayn, the honorary Uso. Everyone seems to love the honorary Uso except Jey Uso. And I'm excited to see how Logan Paul plays more into this picture. And I'm actually enjoying Logan Paul in WWE. Never thought I'd say it, but Sami Zayn cutting a promo for the Bloodline last night, it was golden. I love it. And, you know, all the beef that they might have, and now Sammy's problem is hothead Jey Uso, according to Roman, because he said so. So that's my favorite storyline in WWE.
Yeah, mine is it's two people, and it's kind of not even storyline related, but just a reinvigoration of two people since Triple H has taken over, and it's Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, who he has made a point to just make into dominant forces again. I mean, I don't think either of them have lost matches since he's come back. They've looked a certain way, went a certain way. We'll get into Rollins later as he's got a big match tonight. Owens isn't on the card, so I'll stick with Owens for a second. They literally just stripped him down to his original thing. Like, he has his original Titantron. He's got the old KO duct tape shirt, and he's apron power bombing everybody on the roster. And that is what got me like so excited about this guy coming into NXT however many years ago, and I love to see it going forward and excited to see what they're going to do with him. And I feel like he's definitely getting in with your boy there, the honorary Uso, at some point, and that's the natural progression of that too. So
there's one other person that's been completely invigorated under Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and that's Finn Balor in the Judgment Day. And I think Finn is going to be back on track as a legit world title contender. I love the dynamic with Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley. I think, you know, they took someone who was 0% interesting in Dominic Mysterio and made him 100% interesting with Rhea and the Judgment Day. And I just think that whole dynamic's fantastic. Who's going to stop him? Edge. Is Edge going to stop him? Is someone else going to stop him? I just think the whole Judgment Day in general is fantastic. And Punishment Martinez / Damian Priest is also a great wrestler in his own right. So it's going to be a great to see where they move going forward.
Slick, at the beginning of this broadcast, somehow I could only see Maniac and hear Maniac, and I couldn't hear the rest of you guys, but we've taken care of that since.
Sounds like an upgrade to me, boys.
Oh, shut up.
I assume Slick was talking.
Me, timeline.
I assume Slick was talking about the Sami Zayn's storyline with the Bloodline, and I agree that that's one of the more intriguing things in WWE. It doesn't seem like they're going to be breaking them off anytime soon. It seems like they're going to keep developing this dynamic between Sami and everybody else. You know, who he's boys with, who he's friendly with, who trusts him, who doesn't trust him. And I'd like to see where that goes in the near future. I don't think it's going to – I think it might come into a head at WrestleMania. They might drag it out that long. But for my money, the most interesting storyline is MJF and that casino chip that he's carrying around. It's a sort of Damocles hanging over Jon Moxley or whoever champion is going to be AEW champion by the time we get to Full Gear. Because you know that this is MJF's time. And the only question left is, who's going to take the title from MJF once his time comes up in 6 months, 9 months, a year, whenever that happens?
Very fair, and I know part of them couldn't wait to get into the best storyline, but what do you got for WWE? While you were in the Shadow realm, we narrowed it down to WWE storylines.
We'll say Sami Zayn and the Bloodline.
Okay, I like it. And you guys took I just want to clarify something. I know I am very humble about my opinions on this show. I was on the Sami Zayn storyline 4 to 5 months ago. I knew the greatness that could come from this when you put these groups together, when you put these superstars together.
I will say Vince McMahon would not have done the same. I would not have been as excited 3 months ago or right now in this situation.
Here's a question for everybody really quickly. What percentage of storylines in WWE right now that we all love would have happened if Vince McMahon was in charge right now? I'd say like 0.
Very fair,
I mean, some of them are the continuation of storylines that Vince McMahon is doing. It's just Hunter's doing them a little bit better and developing them a little bit more.
Yeah, but you don't know if that man could have switched his mind on any of them on a random Monday night, and we could,
Zelina Vega would still be wearing a crown, and she'd be showing up on Tuesday nights.
Dakota and Io wouldn't be back.
Showing up on Tuesday nights is the funniest part. I don't know why. But yeah, I mean, it could not have been said more. I mean, heaven forbid if Karrion Kross sneezed, he would be out of this storyline. So he was about. But let me just say something. You want to talk attention to detail, okay? I know I was on the Sami Zayn storyline months ago. I don't have to be on that. The backstage segments, baby. It all started with Doudrop and Nikki ASH in a random car accident, and all of a sudden we're getting random shit left and right. We're getting QR codes. This is how you do sports entertainment in the modern day. We need to be constantly engaged with. There needs to be stuff happening on the screens at all point. You can't just draw out random 3 to 5 minute segments where nothing happens. And I think you're seeing a true attention to detail with that from the Hunter regime. So whether it was NXT and it was happening all along, that can obviously be debated. But real quick, before we get into Extreme Rules, Partham, why don't you tee us up? What the hell is going on in AEW right
now? Chaos, I guess. They just gave Jon Moxley a 5-year extension, and part of that is going to be
there. Clearly,
part of that's going to be coaching responsibilities in there, which I guess means he's a little more responsible for taking people aside and saying, "Hey, you got to shut up or you got to do this." What they need is a social media manager, not a social media manager. They already got people tweeting on their main account. They need a social media overseer who's like, okay, these two people are going at it right now. That's not part of the kayfabe. That's not part of the script or whatever. We need to get these. And they did get Andrade and Sami, as we were alluding to here, together on a Tuesday before the show, reportedly. And everybody agreed, okay, nothing's going to happen. And then Andrade's waiting there for Sami to show up, basically wanting to give himself a reason to get fired. And even though they told him, you're not getting fired no matter what, we're just going to send you home. I want to believe this is a bunch of isolated incidents that Andrade just wants to get fired and he's just stirring up trouble and he's pointing at Sami, which nobody likes in the first place. I guess nobody likes backstage, and the whole Punk Elite not story thing. It's the investigation is still ongoing, which is why no one's been released from suspension. They're still giving us pay-per-view quality shows every week. So I mean.
They're calling
WCW 2000 was chaos backstage and chaos in front of the camera too. At least AEW is not quite chaos in front of the camera.
What, Maniac? You don't think Wednesday night was a pay-per-view quality show?
Pay-per-view quality, no, but
PLV quality.
But the funny thing to make fun of AEW is and this is just literally if you're any wrestling fan. They kind of make every week an excuse for why that week is really a pay-per-view. It's Battle of the Belt 6. It's the 3-year anniversary of
I'm so done with that
Mox's
right
debut.
And I'm all for it every
Jericho
time.
debuted in wrestling like 20 years ago. Like, it's okay. Like, I get it. Like, and, you know, and let's face it, behind the scenes of this show,
The season premiere of SmackDown, the reunion of D-Generation X. It's always something on the other side, too.
I'm like that kid who got woke up on Beyond Spiritual Weight. But no, truthfully, yes, there's always going to be a level of promotion. I think it's funny, like when Tony Khan, like I think he even got into it with like the Barstool guy because Stool Presidente was saying that Nick Khan got them canceled, but he was calling out Tony Khan about it. I don't know if you guys saw
Wrong
that.
Khan.
He was
Yeah.
talking
Wrong
about
Khan.
He met Nick
Wrong
Khan.
Khan, but then Tony just goes, but you know what? Like tonight's Wednesday, like.
You know what that means.
But with that said, obviously tonight, WWE Extreme Rules preview. And I will say right out the gate, guys, you know, for the last couple of years and even for the last almost decade, you could say, part of the biggest hate for WWE Extreme Rules is devolves into these events where it's really just, you know, a couple of feuds and maybe 1 or 2 extreme matches. But up and down the card tonight, it's either there's a championship on the line in an extreme match or it's an extreme match happening. So kudos. You know, I always talked about when I was, you know, really applauding and enjoying AEW the last 2 years. AEW was doing the obvious things right for a wrestling fan. And this seems like a case of WWE doing the obvious thing right for their wrestling fans. So just wanted to give them that kudos and curious what your guys' thoughts are rolling into this pay-per-view tonight.
I'll start. I'm ecstatic. I think Extreme Rules has been lame for far too long, and it's pissed me off because 2007, 2008, around that era, this used to be my favorite pay-per-view of the year, and for so long it was so stale, and I couldn't tell you why. The extreme part just seemed to leave, except for in the name, and it pissed me off, and I'm just glad we're back here. I don't even care it's just 6 matches. It's 6 matches, all with meaning, and all with some sort of fuckery involved. So with that, I'll pass because that is what Extreme Rules stands for, and I'm glad it's back.
The fact that Extreme Rules in Philly it just feels right too. I mean, you get that ECW vibes in there and everything. We won't be stuck with the 6 matches, hopefully, for too long. Obviously, that's a microcosm. At least I don't think so. I feel like that's a microcosm of the fact that a certain dude who's holding both the titles right now doesn't have to show up on all the pay-per-views, and that's how you get these cards like this. But yeah, like everything you just said, Slick. Everything has a story behind it. I think I've been asking since I started watching wrestling again, like, why does Extreme Rules not have something attached to every single match? And I guess Triple H probably agreed with that at the last 6 years too, and went full on with it. But the product itself has been very fun to watch, and it's been rewarding to watch. And that's really what you want. You don't want to be insulted. Like, how many times do you feel like your intelligence was insulted watching WWE programming for like the last 10 years, like so many different times? And I feel like now you're being rewarded for paying attention and for paying attention to things even in the past that have happened that were not paid attention to. Like the other day, Owens mentioning something about, I don't even remember what it was exactly, but he mentioned something like from 18 months ago. He said it in his poll,
that he should have ended Roman's reign. It was one of the first things that happened, and we went in the chat. We're like, "Holy shit! Like this never happens." I should have ended it 18 months ago. Like, you know, like it was like, it was like, holy shit! When was the last time you heard anyone on WWE reference like anything for more than like 3 months ago?
Yeah,
like it was insane.
For 3 weeks.
All that attention, like attention to detail, like you said too, Maniac. Like it's all just adding up to a much better product, and I think that's why AEW obviously in chaos and everything else. They got their own shit going on, but Tony is a competitor in itself too, and he said on his interview with Ariel the other day, like he watches this product and he thinks there's been positive changes and positive things going forward. So it lifts all boats. Rising tide lifts all boats, and I think both products have been pretty good recently. But it's just great to see with the talent that WWE has amassed, get them being used properly and building into these good storylines.
You know, you want to talk about callbacks. How about the fact that Corey Graves mentioned the taboo title reign of Antonio Inoki, which happened in like 1976. That was never acknowledged on TV, but he won the title at Madison Square Garden, but it was never really acknowledged, no pun intended. That's like that would never have happened under Vince McMahon. That is never in a million years.
They've made like 3 mentions of PWG in like the last month, which never would have come across.
Never a chance.
They would have never said anything
it's
about
amazing
New
how
Japan,
much better
even with
WWE
going
got.
Antonio Inoki.
Again, better just by like taking down arbitrary rules that should never have existed anyways.
Agreed. And I think 6 matches might not be enough. I think 7 or 8. But at the same time, you don't need to have everybody on a pay-per-view match should mean something. Like you should be on a pay-per-view because you are having a feud or a match or some sort of program that is pay-per-view worthy. That is the one thing that I hate about AEW. They try to shove everybody on a pay-per-view. Not everybody is pay-per-view worthy. It's like you don't have, that there needs to be a balance between the 6 matches WWE's having and the 14 matches that AEW's having. Somewhere in between. Make it just a little more special to have a match on pay-per-view.
Very fair.
AEW has only 4 or 5 pay-per-views per year compared to WWE having 1 PLE every month. It's easier to get on a PLE when there's 1 every month.
That's a good point.
Well, that's fair, but I stand by my statement.
Well,
they also have 3 TV shows too, so you know what I'm saying? Just like
remember
WWE
the pay dynamic is different. WWE is streaming their premium live events, and as so many wrestlers were concerned about, pay-per-views have a payout for all the talent that's on there, and Tony's trying to get as much talent as he can on those pay-per-views so they can all get their fair share of it. And if you go back to Double or Nothing, he just pushed everything onto the main show and didn't give like pre-match shows because he wanted to push his main event to not be in conflict with the NBA. He had 3 pay-per-view shows on All Out, so it was a little more evened out and it wasn't pushed so late. But yeah, they do try to put as many matches on pay-per-view AEW does because they want those pay-per-view payouts to as much as their talent as they can get. They don't have a PLE event every other month where, it's streaming and maybe they don't get their cut of that as the pay dynamic is right now.
I have got a keyboard boner because right there you can see the passion of wrestling fans on the internet here. We are not wrestling with fighters. No, don't even slick. Get the hell out of here with that face. It is time to get extreme, and there's no better way to start, boys. It's a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. I got the phone ringing. Sorry.
Excuse me, is this on?
I don't have time to answer that. What do we got?
Are we missing something before we get to our picks?
What did I do? Oh, the percentages? Yes, I take full accountability, but they're not all up to date yet. Here's now. I want to show. Yeah, you can boo me. You can boo me, but I want to show. Hold on. What do I got? Share screen. Okay. I got them all updated. So all the ones non-highlighted need to be added to the records, though. So we're almost there. For the next episode, all our records will be updated. Almost there. I just need to see the actual results. Do you realize I had to watch 6 of our shows to get all the records back in there? So yeah, don't be like almost there. All right. Speaking of almost there, we got the Brawling Brutes, Sheamus, Ridge Holland, and Butch versus Imperium, Gunther, the Ring General, Ludwig Kaiser, and Giovanni Vinci. All right, let's start us off slick since you got all the hot takes today.
Yeah, I do. Thanks. By the way, before I go into it, I'm just gonna say last night that Sheamus Gunther match, second to theirs, I believe, awesome again. Those guys really put on. Hard to live up to the first one, but they almost did just that. And Gunther using a shillelagh, the Irish weapon itself, to get over in this match here behind the ref's back. After he tapped out, by the way, that's a tap. I don't care what anybody says.
It was a fake tap. Tap.
She could fuck off. I don't know what she was watching. That's a tap. 2 in a row, real quick tap. Like that. What do you mean?
It's a fake tap. You got tapped 3 times.
Oh, give me a break.
I've never heard that.
Where is that in the rule book? Jesus.
How many times have you seen the dude tap once and then they tap him out?
Oh,
no, never.
That was not just a slap on the canvas. With Michael Cole saying it was
a fake slide.
It was trying to get him closer to the rope. Get the fuck out of here. Are you kidding me? Oh my god.
Okay.
But anyway, Gunther needing a shillelagh to win that match shows you that Sheamus had him read. He had all his matches. He had his card read. and he didn't know how else he could beat Sheamus in that match. He needed the help of Imperium. So I think the Brawling Brutes do a little chicanery here of their own to get back tonight. And I think you got to put them over this time. And eventually, I think you got to do the trio, the third match between Gunther and Sheamus, and strap that Intercontinental title on Sheamus after you've made such a big deal about how it's the only title that he's failed to capture in WWE. And I used to be a Sheamus hater. I'm not even going to lie. I'm going to say it. He's awesome, dude. He's awesome. Fair. And this is a tap.
Let me go back again. Let's see the beginning
let me see
here.
that again.
1, 2. That's a tap.
I mean,
1, 2.
if someone did that on a Friday night, they would say they tapped. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Dude, that's ridiculous. But yeah, anyway, I got the Brawling Brutes.
He's got the Brutes.
I think they get this one back.
Yeah, that's like the normal WWE logic too of this is that Gunther went over last night, so then the Brawling Brutes would probably go over this night and everything else. And I've been trying to usually I would just rely on that and go with it. Triple H has been a little different with his stuff. He hasn't really shown it like that, but I do think this is the Brawling Brutes. That's why you do it like that. And Butch and Ridge Holland need to get over on Ludwig and Giovanni Vinci because they cost them 2 tag team title matches now at this point. So that's as much of the storyline as anything else. I think this is going to be a great spot to highlight Butch. We know how much Triple H loves him, some Pete Dunne, some Butch. And I think he's going to be the real star coming out of this. So give me the Brutes. The Brutes can't lose a Donnybrook. I don't care.
Yeah, that's
classy Imperium. They can't handle a Donnybrook. Get out of here.
I agree with you, Jake, that Triple H loves Butch, and I'm gonna go the opposite way because I'm gonna pick Imperium because I think that they are going to transition Butch back into Pete Dunne, like they're transitioning everybody back into their original character. So I think somehow Imperium's gonna get the win, and that's gonna be like the start of the I've had enough phase of Butch where he turns himself back into the bruiserweight Pete Dunne.
Real quick, I know that, Theory went back to being Austin Theory, but has anybody, in wrestling become, a completely different person?
LA Knight.
LA Knight.
Yeah, okay, the LA Knight, yes, yesterday. Yeah. So that was I guess we're in the era. We are literally in the metamorphosis era of WWE where anyone can become anything at any time, partly.
I mean, you can cut a name in half. You can give him a completely different name. I mean, Gunther's one of those examples, but I don't think he's going back to Walter anytime soon. I've gone back and forth on this one a little bit, actually, because I know they want to keep pushing Imperium, but like Jake said, WWE logic is one person goes over on the go-home show, but then the other person goes over on the pay-per-view, or...
Throw it out the window. Throw the records out.
It's a Donnybrook match. It's the Brawling Brutes. You could have someone other than Gunther take the pin. Give me the Brawling Brutes. Sure.
You got the Brutes. I got the Brutes as well. Like you said, it's a Donnybrook match. Imperium, they kept their title, but they will not keep their pride when it comes to tonight in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Speaking of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, you might be allowed to call the belt a strap now in WWE, but this strap match is nothing of the sort. These are just two hosses who want to get after each other. It's been building up, obviously, since before Clash at the Castle. Karrion Kross with Scarlett against Drew McIntyre. I'll lead off here. I think Drew McIntyre gets the best of him for the most part. Not mega shenanigans. Maybe we get a fireball or something. Obviously, it is pay-per-view. It is Extreme Rules. We're going to be looking for some meme moments. I have Karrion Kross with some chicanery, I think, as you gentlemen like to say. Partham, what do you have when these two big boys face off?
I'm in agreement with you. Drew McIntyre will look strong, but Karrion Kross is the brand new heel that Triple H wants to push and get back, onto a certain level. You don't have to make Drew McIntyre look weak. All these matches with them being Extreme Rules, no matter who loses them, it can all be to some sort of chicanery or shenanigans or skullduggery or what have you. So
Skullduggery.
Skullduggery. You dirty boy.
get up a thesaurus and line up all the words. Yeah, I think they're gonna keep pushing Karrion. They're gonna keep pushing Karrion Kross. However, he's gonna do it. He's probably gonna go over in this strap match.
I'm with them. I know we're kind of time constrained, so I'm just go quickly. Karrion Kross with some tomfoolery.
Let's go.
Damn it, guys! I thought no one was gonna pick Kross, and now I don't want to pick Kross. But all right, hold up though. Do we know the rules of this strap? Is it touching 4 corners, or is it what are we doing here? Have they announced what the rules are? I feel like WWE is usually done. You got to touch the 4 corners with the strap matches.
I don't think they've said anything to that effect.
They have not.
What do you mean
I don't
by
think
that?
they've done anything traditional with the strap matches recently.
They like you literally you touch the 4. There'll be like some kind of light or something on the ring post.
Oh, to win?
Yeah. And that's how you do it. And they've done some fun ways. There's one that I remember, Eddie Guerrero versus somebody help me here. Was it JBL?
JBL, yeah.
I think. Yeah, and he was like on JBL's back or something and touched the last one and one like that. So I think it's gonna be something weird like that where they both have, if that's the case, that they're gonna both have 3 and Kross will like Scarlett will do something or whatever. But I think you have to give it to Kross. If he loses his first match and it's also a match where you can use weapons and a strap and everything else, like I don't care that it's against Drew McIntyre. It's just like, what is this dude doing here at this point? So I think they got to give it to Kross, and it's got to be some vicious beatdown of McIntyre in some way too. Like he's got to get decimated.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with all you guys. I'm gonna go with Kross as well. I think he's looked really strong since he's come back under Triple H, and I don't see a reason why you would give him an L here. McIntyre's had his spot as of recently. Whether it could have been a higher spot, one could argue that. But I think Karrion Kross might be one of those next in line to step up and face Roman, hence why he's saying he's got to get through a true challenger like Drew first, who's just coming off the loss of the title. So I'm going to go with Karrion Kross one way or the other in this match going over.
Shout out to everything happening in this pay-per-view because like you guys alluded to in the preview, it has been going on more than a month. There is a reason they're fighting at Extreme Rules. So again, it gives it a little bit more credibility. Speaking of which, we got an I Quit match. I don't know, I can't really recall the last time we saw this with such a blood feud. We got Edge versus Finn Balor. Obviously, you have Judgment Day looming in the shadows. You have, Beth Phoenix. You have all kinds of things on Edge's side as well. With that said, I think ultimately we're going to see a continuation of the Triple H regime. I think we're going to see Finn Balor ultimately get the win here. I don't know how Edge is going to say I quit. Maybe it'll be Rhea having Beth in a compromising situation, something like that. Obviously, it'll show Judgment Day vindictive. You need to continue to get Judgment Day over. I think Priest, Balor, and Rhea, obviously with Dom, are very hot right now. So continue to do that. Get Finn over. Give Finn the win here. Don't have him fall off the top rope and give up or anything like that, and just go from there. What do you got, Slick? You look like you're having a fun time.
No, I just thought of I was thinking of ways they could get him to say I quit, and I just thought of the most ridiculous way. They have just some absurd weapon that they're about to use on him or something. But I agree with you. I think, Edge be a popular choice, but he has nothing to gain. He's already Edge. He's already a Hall of Famer. And like you said, Judgment Day, they've kind of struggled getting over, but Finn Balor, with rumors of there being big plans for him here in the future, I think Finn Balor gets the win. I love your idea of bringing Beth into it, putting her in a compromising situation, because Edge isn't just going to say I quit very easily. But there's also a numbers advantage here for the Judgment Day, and I just don't see how Edge can overcome that, even with the help of players like Mysterio or AJ Styles. Maybe we see an AJ Styles turn here tonight. I don't know. I don't know. But Finn Balor is going to win, I think.
All right, we mentioned before that there might be, I think you mentioned this, Slick, that there might be a surprise person that we don't know if we're going to see, and it just popped into my head. What if it is the demon Finn Balor, who we know, we want to talk about Triple H, someone that they enjoy, definitely loves that, haven't seen it in a long time, and would be a great addition to this match. And just the second anybody saw that entrance start, it hits social quick, and it feels like a bigger deal in that arena once they see something like that. But regardless, I'm going Finn. I mean, I think Finn has to. Yes, exactly that, Mania. I think it's got to be Finn. The numbers game, one thing. Did Edge say the words "I quit" in his little promo on Monday too? Because I've seen they could do some like.
You're thinking back to Mankind 1999.
Mankind
right?
Rock.
Yes, I
That's
am.
a great
Yes,
callback.
I am. I think that they could do something like that where Edge is like is down and you don't see his mouth or whatever, and they just play it like I didn't quit, whatever. Because I don't see either of these dudes saying I quit. I really don't. I don't. The way that they booked either of them, I don't see it. But I think this is going to be overbooked, fucking madness. AJ, Ray, Dom, Beth, Rhea. Like there's going to be so much going on outside of these two. It's going to be a mess. But I think what we've heard about Finn and what we know about how Triple H feels about Finn and Finn Balor should be Edge in this situation. Edge doesn't need this win at all, so give me Finn.
Really quickly, Finn's going to win. Rey Mysterio is going to do something to inadvertently cost Edge the match.
Ooh, I like that.
When I first saw this match, my thoughts were A, babyfaces never lose I Quit matches, and B, I have picked Judgment Day so many times on PLEs, and they burned me every single time the last 2 or 3 times that I swore off picking them again to win another match. Oh, they're the Judgment Day. They have to get over. They have to be made a threat. And then they just effing lose. And I look like a effing idiot afterwards. But I knew of everything you guys said beforehand that Finn Balor's... The report came out last week that Triple H is trying to push Finn Balor. And how do you do that? By having him lose an I Quit match? And yes, either Rey Mysterio or Beth Phoenix are there for the Judgment Day to just F around. Maybe they all of a sudden turn on Dominic and, threaten him kind of like the way Seth Rollins was threatening Edge. And that's how he got John Cena to bring back the Authority, just having his foot on his neck or something because he has neck problems. But then Dominic turns back on them and it turns out, we were just messing with you the whole time. But however they do it, whatever they threaten Edge with, whatever coercion it is, you guys are all right. Finn Balor, if they're pushing him the way Triple H wants to push him, then he has to go over somehow, some way. Bro. And I do remember the Mankind match. That was probably the last time I can remember a babyface losing an I Quit match. If they're not going to do it that way with some kind of, recording or whatever, they're going to have to find another way to coerce him. Kind of like Seth Rollins coerced John Cena back in the day with Seth Rollins.
Bro, Edge... They turn on Dom, and Ray makes Edge say I quit because they're such good friends, and he needs to save his. And then Edge turns out, and then Edge is like holds that over Ray for a while. That'd be some good. And if there's anybody that could do it, it's Rey Mysterio and Edge that could pull that off.
Very fair. Yeah.
Please, Adam. Please.
Seriously. Hey. But now, we've been talking about the storylines, and obviously we have 3 matches left. Shout out everybody tuning in. We are 20 minutes away from college football. We got UB in action. We got Red River Rival. We got all kinds of awesome football action. But we are talking Extreme Rules. Shout out for tuning in here, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. With that said, we have 3 more matches. And the one underlying storyline that we haven't mentioned yet, there are only 2 titles on the line at this pay-per-view. And they are both women's titles. Yep. Let's go, Paul. Let's go, Paul. All right. We got the women's championship ladder match. And again, we talk about all these matches more than a month ago. This goes back to SummerSlam. This group, Damage Control, debuting, stealing kind of Bianca's moment of a big win over Becky Lynch, some could say. With that said, you have Bianca, she'll have her faction. I don't know. I don't love that Asuka is, relegated to, someone's crony. As far as Jared, that doesn't really fit to me. But let's face it, if you ever look at Asuka, she's just kind of going with the flow, whether it's dancing on the thing or winning championships. That's what she does. So with that said, I think Bianca ultimately gets the win. This is a 10-year establishing win like we've kind of discussed. There will be craziness on the outside. I think we're all looking forward to every match being overbooked and like kind of layered tonight. That's the biggest thing. So I will take Bianca to retain. Partham, what do you got?
The one thing that I think we can even under a Triple H regime, you can hang your hat on is the Go Home show. With the image of Damage Control and Bayley standing tall, not just standing tall, but standing at the top of the ladder with the belts on the Go Home show, having beaten up Bianca and her friends. I think that's the pretty good indication that Bianca is going to retain the title. You can do the, complete takeover with Dakota Kai and Io Sky having their titles and Bayley winning the women's title and doing sort of like a toxic attraction thing like they had on NXT. But I think it's not quite time for Bianca to lose her title. And from what they did on the Go Home show, I think Bianca's going to retain.
I agree 100%. This is a way to get Bayley to lose without having to take a pinfall. So This is actually really, really good booking because you want to keep Bayley strong because Damage Control is very, very hot right now, and there could just be some sort of, something weird's going to happen where Bayley it's implied that Bayley would have won the match, but she didn't win the match. Bianca wins. Everybody's strong. Great match. Everyone goes home happy.
See, I think they did the ladder match so that Bianca doesn't have to take the pinfall and she loses.
Thank you.
I think that, damn it, I think it would. I've been going back and forth on this all week because they already have the bloodline with all the titles. Like you said, they had Toxic Attraction as a group with all the titles. But if one thing Paul has made a point of is that faction, you need to be in a faction to have success in this new WWE. Like they mention that all the time, like the numbers game. With Finn and AJ, it's basically been the whole story. He's been like, dude, listen, you don't have no friends. You need friends around here. They're rebuilding, like needing people, needing backup, needing factions. And so that's what I think that's the direction I think they go. Make Bayley and Damage Control look super strong. And going into War Games, I think it's better to have a heel championship and a heel group leading it with all the titles facing off against the babyface team against them. So I think that my initial thought was Bayley. I'm gonna stick with it, but I feel the least good about this pick more than any other one for sure.
I am agreeing with Jake for most of the reasons he said. I think this is a way you can set it up for Bianca to lose without taking a pin and still make her look strong. And ladders, baby. Let's go. I think Bayley gets the win here.
Yes, ladders is making this a very attractive proposition. And again, like you said, Micah, this is one of the closer lines. Bayley plus 150, Bianca minus 200. So basically the equivalent of, a 4 or 5 point favorite in a football game. With that said, we got 2 matches left. Let's go to our non-main event, even though I think we're all very invested in this run at this point from what she's done on a pay-per-view since we got Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey. I'll just say right out of the gate, if Liv Morgan can find a way to no shenanigans retain here, this tenure as women's champion has to be one of the best I can remember. Just based on who she's beaten, what she's accomplished, the transformation of the character. I'll give credit to your Asukas and obviously your Becky Lynch's, but beyond that, every other, championship run was just so short and so meaningless to me as a WWE fan. So with that said, I am going to hope and, that we get Liv Morgan in a crazy match because Ronda is going to have that face on slick.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I think Liv retains too. And you gotta, like you said, this is a great title run. You gotta keep it going, make the most of it. And they've been building Liv up to show that she can get extreme. So I think Liv retains and does some crazy shit to do so. And proves that Ronda is the baddest woman on the planet without anything in her possession, as in a weapon. But Liv, when it comes to the instruments of destruction, can get extreme and will do some crazy stuff to retain said title. And I think Liv continues her reign here. Not sure, maybe the end of the Ronda feud. Can't be certain about that, but I got Liv retaining. What do you think, Jake?
I completely agree. I am going with Liv Morgan here. I think this is an opportunity to make Liv Morgan, really make Liv Morgan. Obviously, she's a huge fan favorite, everything else, but this could be the signature win of her career. Ronda doesn't need to be champion again right now. She really doesn't. And this is an Extreme Rules match. I don't even think they need chicanery. If Liv immediately brings out the carriage cart of weapons like Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar, just brings out the kendo sticks, the bats, the whatever else, barbed wire, tacks, whatever they're going to use in this match. It doesn't make her look bad by doing all that stuff. That's just the nature of the match. I think that she goes extreme. I think Ronda does too. And yeah, like you said, she's going to do something insane to pull this win off. But I think make Liv Morgan, and also it kind of goes in hand with my other pick because you got the heel power faction on one side. You got to have the babyface women's champion on the other side. So give me Liv.
Really quickly, I'm going with Liv myself. I don't think it's going to be a clean win. This is my 50-50, the one I really didn't. I really think that, eventually Ronda's got to win because she's Ronda Rousey, she's the baddest woman on the planet. They have all the money invested in her, even though her second run has been really weak. But I think we're eventually going to get Becky versus Ronda, the rematch at WrestleMania this year. I don't think it's going to happen as a result of tonight, though. I'm going with Liv tonight.
Well, gentlemen, this is your lucky day because you have the opportunity to gain one up. Because Ronda Rousey is winning this damn match. She's winning back the damn title. Because Liv Morgan's title reign has already been legitimized enough. She's beaten Ronda not once but twice. She's already beaten Shayna Baszler. They've already made her look tough. Jake's logic of, Bianca Belair doesn't have to get pinned to lose her title in a ladder match. Well, Liv Morgan doesn't have to get, pinned fairly in an Extreme Rules match. They can still make her look tough. They can still have her be, an Extreme Queen or whatever. But Ronda Rousey, you can't have Liv Morgan beating Ronda Rousey 3 times if you're trying to build up Ronda Rousey as this baddest woman on the planet, especially when weapons are involved. So, guys, I don't know if you can feel it in the air. You've seen the odds makers. If you've seen all the predictions, Ronda Rousey is the pick, guys.
You're just not right.
We shall see. We shall see.
Oh, we lost
You're
Maniacs.
buddy.
I'm back. I'm sorry. I haven't seen part of that. I haven't seen part of them that passionate since we were talking about going to the
I haven't seen
AEW
anybody
meet
go
and greet
against
a
my
couple
pick like
months
this
ago.
before. And before I
Okay,
even made
well,
it.
let's go. Let's go. This is a big time. But this is time. It is main event time. It's time to get in the fight pit. I'm not going to lie. I've never seen a fight pit match. So I know that they kind of were trying to show highlights. They know that, Rollins knows it's gone. We're going to have Daniel Cormier, special guest referee. This is a great blow up. By the way, shout out to Ernie Green, who correctly predicted 5 weeks ago that Clash at the Castle was really just the beginning of this storyline and not even close to the end when I was rewatching that. So surprisingly, Ernie knew something over there. But with that said, Rollins, Riddle. Riddle has his full name back, Matt Riddle. Well, listen, voice of reason and voice of the voice, part them. Or why don't you kick us off?
Seth Rollins has lost a lot on pay-per-view and PLEs this year, but Daniel Cormier coming in being the special guest referee, you have to have him raising the hand of a good guy. That's usually what happens when you have special guest referees. If I recall, that's the reason why they had to mess around with the SummerSlam 99 match, because it was supposed to be Steve Austin and Triple H, and they brought in Mankind because, who was it?
Jesse Ventura.
Jesse Ventura, they didn't want him raising the hand of a heel like Triple H. So they had Mankind win it and keep it for one day and had Triple H win it the next night. So with that logic, I'm saying Matt Riddle is going to go over Seth Rollins.
Yeah, Matt Riddle's going to win. I'm not sure if this is the end of this feud, but they didn't bring Daniel Cormier in for a one-off. So I could totally see Cormier raising the hand of Riddle and then clotheslining him and starting a feud with him.
Ooh.
Attacking him, the old Hulk, the way probably past your time, but Paul Orndorff and Hulk Hogan when he raised his hand and clotheslined him. It was awesome. Because Paul Orndorff was in the right because Hogan was the prick. But I digress. But yeah, I see Matt, in terms of who wins this match, Matt Riddle wins the match.
I think the only time I've ever picked, as I'm very biased, as you can tell, the only time I've ever picked against Seth Rollins was in any of the Cody Rhodes matches earlier in the year. I'm not starting now today, boys. I do think the possibility is, the one thing we haven't mentioned yet is this big White Rabbit reveal. Somebody's coming back tonight. I don't know. It might be a big deal. If this is the main event, it's going to be involved with somebody out of this match. And Seth feels like the right person for that to be with, to keep him. Because if Seth isn't going to, if he's going to win this match, or if he's not going to win this match, there's really... there's only so many other ways they can go with him, I think, out of this. He does have a title match on Monday against Bobby Lashley, which is something to keep in mind as well. With that, so Riddle, I think Riddle is probably the smart pick, but I'm not making a smart pick right now. I'm making a very biased pick and not going against my guy.
So, Ernie makes a good point with Cormier. Jake makes another good point. with the White Rabbit. If the White Rabbit does play into this match, this is going to ruin my whole prediction. But for those of you that aren't familiar with Cormier as a wrestling fan, he's a fucking mark. And he's a mark for Seth freaking Rollins. I think even though as down the middle as he might say he's going to call it, something's going to happen and he's going to turn a blind eye and he's going to happily raise the hand of Seth freaking Rollins. And Cormier just screwed over a fellow former UFC fighter. That's going to piss off someone. Who's that someone, you might ask? Brock freaking Lesnar comes out the
Give me
back
that.
and is fed up with Daniel Cormier. He's like, I never got you in the octagon, you son of a bitch. I'm going to kick your ass in the squared circle in Saudi Arabia. I'm
not gonna lie. For a second, I thought the Shield was coming out. The Hounds of Justice were coming out for Daniel Cormier. But
I'd be up for that too.
I like that storytelling. I like that storytelling, and I like the storytelling of. I'm gonna go with my guy Rollins as well. Bias pick. But speaking of bias, speaking of wanting your emotions, he's here. Dwayne-O-Mania. Who you got? Matt Riddle versus Rollins. Fight pit main event to wrap it up here on Wrestling with Emotion show.
I've been saying it now for a little while that I think Seth Rollins is the guy that will be the Fiend Bray Wyatt's first target, unfinished business, back from that Hell in the Cell match, and they've even tweeted at each other about it. So I think this match goes to Riddle, and I think Seth Rollins will be left alone in the fight pit, and then that's when the lights go out, and that's when you get some semblance of the Fiend Bray Wyatt making his long anticipated return.
One thing we haven't talked about, I can see the whole White Rabbit thing just completely wiping out the main event and we have a no contest.
Oh, I can see that too.
That too.
But I am very excited about the fight pit on the main roster and just in this, like you said, you haven't seen the fight pit. It's honestly like there's so many. It's so hard to find like it's hard to find a new like gimmick match that is good. But from what I've seen from like they've only done it a couple times, but just the structure and everything else for guys like Rollins and Riddle, there's gonna be some shit that happens in this.
And I don't want to jinx them on the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Ernie, going back to your point about your prediction about throwing out the main event, isn't that basically going back to the Seth Rollins Bray Wyatt Hell in the Cell getting thrown out, and wouldn't that incite boos? Even though people would be happy to see Bray Wyatt back, a no contest and a no rules match.
No, that's because this match you can only win by pinfall or submission.
No,
but
not
that's the same as Hell in the Cell.
Not pinfall.
I'm sorry, knockout or submission.
Yeah, knockout or submission.
To answer your question, I think people are so excited to see the Fiend. I don't think they would care in this particular case. To be honest with you, if everybody was left laying and the Fiend was standing tall, I don't think people would care that they were. I think that would be an awesome finish. Whereas the Hell in a Cell finish was just crap. Because there was no interference, it was just a disqualification. Which had that epic rant by Sean Waltman, by the way.
On the live stream.
Yes, on the live stream. And by the way, he's like, I know they're probably never going to invite me back. And by the way, they never did, which is hilarious. But his logic was great. I see what you're saying, but I think this is just apples and bowling balls in terms of this case.
Basically, say if you're about to say something on a live stream and you go, they might not ever invite me back if I say this. It's basically like tweeting out something. Some people might find this offensive. Like,
and yet he's going to be on the DX reunion, I believe.
And he will be on the DX reunion because there used to be a lot more of us, and you can tell there are a lot of us on the panel. Stay tuned. Obviously, on the future episodes, we'll have our records updated. That's on me. If it's not updated next time, I want full boost from everybody. I want full heel turn. I want nuclear heat. What do you got?
Can I rip off my other predictions real quick?
You have 30 seconds.
All right, I got Ronda. I got Roman, obviously. I will take the Brawling Brutes in the
Roman.
Wait,
Roman? Who's Roman wrestling, bro?
Roman's not wrestling? Oh, that's at Saudi Arabia. I'm sorry. The wrestling in Saudi Arabia. I'm sorry. Yeah, I apologize. I forgot.
To be fair, it was talked about in the show. Go on.
Okay, U.S. title, is that being defended?
No.
Folks,
does he know what show's predicting?
With your budget. It's not wrestling with your conscience. Tonight, it's Extreme Rules. Stay tuned for more coverage going forward. We love Dwayne Mania, and we love you. Let's have a good night.